Hey everyone, I hope you guys are having a great day. With that said, I have some more thrilling stories for you guys to listen to. I hope you enjoy the stories, and if you guys do, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy. I'll admit, I was pretty addicted to swiping on Tinder. As a busy graduate student, it wasn't always easy meeting people in person. Tinder offered this constant stream of potential matches, new people to chat with whenever I had some downtime. Mostly it was just hollow flirting and lame one-liners. But one night, I matched with Josie, and it felt different. Her photo showed a cute girl with fiery red hair and a sassy smile. Her bio said she loved hiking and scary movies. Basically all my faves. Our chat started with the usual small talk, but we seriously just clicked right away. The conversation flowed easily, and we made each other laugh. After a couple days of non-stop messaging, I already felt closer to Josie than anyone else I met online. When I asked her out for a real date, she wasn't hesitant at all. We picked a super cool modern restaurant downtown that Saturday night. As I was getting ready, I honestly felt giddy, like high school crush butterflies in my stomach. Kind of excited. This girl was just so dang awesome. When Josie walked in wearing a bold and railed dress, she looked even prettier than her pics. Her smile lit up the room, and any first day awkwardness quickly faded. We talked for hours about traveling, our favorite music, childhood memories. It was like time stood still, and before I knew it, they were closing down the restaurant. Josie suggested we grab another drink at the bar next door. The night flew by as we continued chatting, moving closer together in our cozy booth. When she rested her head on my shoulder, I couldn't believe this amazing connection we were making. It just felt so meant to be, you know? Near glass call, Josie said she better head home. I offered to walk her back. We strolled slowly, hand in hand, neither of us wanting the night to end. When we reached her cute Gordon apartment, she flashed that adorable smile of hers and pulled me in for a soft kiss, then invited me inside. Yeah, you can guess what happened next. The next morning I woke feeling on top of the world, as Josie slept sounding beside me. I reveled in memories of the most incredible day I've ever been on. My cheeks actually hurt from smiling so hugely. I couldn't wait to see her again, and soon when I got home, I immediately opened Tinder to send Josie a flirty thanks again for last night message. But suddenly her match was gone, just vanished from my list. I checked Jay's last name, scribbled on a paper, but no combination came up in my area. It's like she had been wiped clean from Tinder. Entirely confused, I searched every social network. No profiles anywhere. I texted the number she gave me, but it said the line was disconnected. Even Google showed zero results for her full name in the city. It honestly felt super bizarre and straight up creepy. I drove back to the restaurant we met at and showed bartender a selfie Josie had taken of us. He said he remembered me dining alone and leaving alone. None of the regulars recognized her name or fiery hair either. By now, I seriously started freaking out. It was like Josie had completely vanished into thin air. Did I just imagine meeting her? Sharing sparks, flying dates? But it felt so real. Her warm hand in mine. Her lips kissing me softly. How could my mind manufacture such vivid intimacy with someone who didn't actually exist? Doubt and dread swirled sickeningly inside me. Was I losing touch with reality? Or becoming some kind of delusional stalker? As days passed with no logical trace of Josie, I became obsessed with solving this bizarre mystery. I researched everything, alternate identities, witness protection programs, even some far-out theories about supernatural computer glitches. Desperate, I hired a private investigator and described Josie in minute detail. Her cute nose, the small scar on her knee, her melodic laugh, but no records matched across the entire country. Weeks later, I found myself still compulsively swiping through ER, flinching whenever I saw a flash of red hair. Part of me hoped Josie's smile face would suddenly reappear with some logical explanation. The rest of me worried I was descending into madness. My friends started voicing concern too, saying I needed to see a therapist. But I knew they just didn't understand what Josie and I had shared. I knew she was real. I decided to return alone one last time to the bar where Josie had whispered she was falling for me. I sat staring holes into that empty booth, glimpsing echoes of her flickering form and apparition. My mind still couldn't accept losing as the last call approached again. The bartender asked if I was all right. I sighed and slowly shook my head no. He said he knew it was crazy, but he kind of remembered me with the redhead girl that night too. I glanced up at a spark of hope, piercing my gloom. Really? He thought hard, then shrugged and said, perhaps we had just seemed so in love that he wanted to believe it. I nodded in weary resignation as he squeezed my shoulder, kindly, before leaving me alone with my ghosts. I dropped my head into my hands, tears trickling down. Silently, her musical L suddenly echoed from across the bar, heart lurching. I jerked my eyes up, but only empty shadows stared back. Darkness shrouded the spot where my last loved one sat, vibrant and alive in my aching memories. Phantom traces swirled around me. Her perfume, her warmth, her tender sighs. My breath caught sharply at fleeting glimpses of Josie's beloved form. Marked ghost and curl, now a haunting reminder of joy, once found, and now forever lost. The room felt colder and emptier than I had ever imagined. As I walked slowly out the door, alone, swiping on Tinder always felt a little sketchy, but after a bunch of drunk conversations, I finally matched with a girl named Brooke, who seemed genuinely cool. After joking around on the app for a few days, I asked her to grab some coffee with me, and damn, that first date couldn't have gone any better. Brooke was just as funny and down-to-earth in person. We spent hours chatting about our favorite movies and conspiracy theories over a couple lattes. There was no awkwardness at all, which is rare for me. Everything just clicked with this girl. We started dating regularly. After that, it was always simple stuff. Getting boba tea, checking out steak fairs, downtown Netflix at UT apartment. But after a few weeks of seeing Brooke, I noticed something that gave me pause. We'd catch glimpses of the same random guy whenever we went now. Don't get me wrong, I'm no egomaniac. At first I thought it was merely an odd coincidence. Like, it's a big city, but people tend to flock to the same hip areas, right? But soon it kept happening, and the dude's face looked oddly familiar too. It clicked when we were at our favorite ramen spot. As we slurped noodles, I saw a guy again lurking outside, pretending to be lost, while appearing through the window, straight at us, and it hit me. His thin face and cold gray eyes were from the profile pic of one of Brooke's Facebook friends, her ex. Maybe when I asked Brooke about it later, her bubbly energy instantly vanished. She tensed up and she shook her head, saying she didn't want to talk about him. Clearly bad news. So I didn't push it. But the next week, when we escaped the summer heat at an afternoon movie, sure enough, Mullet Man was there, watching us from 3 rows back. It was definitely time for another convo with Brooke. When I swung by her place that night, she broke down crying about him. I comforted her. I learned she had a mentally unbalanced ex named Liam, who had become rarely obsessed after their breakup 6 months ago. He had panic attacks if Brooke ever missed his text, and once showed up at her office begging her not to go on some work trip. She had to threaten a restraining order before he unwillingly gave her space. But I guessed Old hadn't quite got the message yet, based on his creepy tracking of her dates. Brooke said she was scared he would flip out when he realized how serious we were, and she worried about my safety, and how it could be at risk, with Liam's unpredictable temper. Damn, our romantic story was getting kind of alarming, but I really liked Brooke, so I wasn't going to ditch her over some obsessive tool she dumped long time ago. I said we'd figure out together and do whatever necessary to get Liam out of our lives for good. Brooke was so lead and graceful. She started crying, but happy tears this time. Things were good for a while. We didn't notice Liam sulking around anymore. But one night, Brooke called me freaking out, saying he had followed her home and knew where she lived now. She was honestly terrified after he left a bag of bloody roses on our car, with a note saying, "Soon we'd be together forever." I rushed right over to comfort her. We considered calling the police, but worried it might push Liam over the edge. We decided to stay with me for a while instead, feeling safer if we stuck together. I even started letting her drive my car off since Liam wouldn't recognize it. When she was alone for several weeks, we managed to evade him. Our romantic getaways now had an added urgency to fight normally again. But Liam was clearly unstable. A couple chilling text messages revealed he'd still tracked Brooke's every move now, seeing me as the obstacle keeping them apart. As much as we tried to hide locations from him, he would always sniff us out. Brooke was a nervous wreck, jumping at every phone notification, and constantly checking over her shoulder. Things spiraled when Brooke realized she was being photographed outside her office. We spotted Liam hiding behind a tree with a zoom lens, primed on our building. I had enough and marched toward him in a blind fury, ready to defend my girl. But he dashed to his beat-up sedan and sped off, his hollow eyes meeting May as he glared back in dark promise. We agreed then to request a restraining order, we celebrating feeling safe for a moment, relieved to finally reclaim our lives together. We could withstand one guy's ominous threats, I assured her, but Liam wasn't ready to back off his beloved obsession. Just yet danger still lurked in the shadows, and we remained locked in his sights later that week. Where I left work one night, the garage floor was deserted. Reaching my car, I fumbled for keys in the eerie silence. Suddenly I heard a screech of tires rapidly approaching behind me. My heart hurt, seizing in panic. I turned just as a pair of headlights bared down on me, fast. Liam's gaunt face visible behind the wheel on a collision course with my frozen form. I woke up days later in the hospital, fuzzy, mind swirling back. Apparently I had just jumped away in time just before Liam's car smashed viciously into where I stood. Police arrived to find the vehicle abandoned, with traces of blood haunting the fractured windshield. But Liam himself had vanished into the shadows, still dangerously obsessed with the girlfriend, and he refused to release from his clenched fist. Brooke clung to me, weeping. He seemed so grateful I survived the attack. Her warm arms felt comforting as hell after everything, but I knew the terror wasn't over yet. Liam had slipped back into hiding rage and rejection, fueling his madness even more. Still aching, my bones had bended, unlike Liam's broken mind. Somewhere out there he was plotting his next unhinged move, consumed with possessing Brooke at any cost. She was still trapped in his twisted sights, and I refused to leave her side until he was finally brought to justice. This Tinder romance had opened unexpected portals of darkness from Brooke's past. A blissful bubble was definitely burst, yet we preserved united against the obsessive force tried to tear us apart, both vowing to never become victims of Liam's psychological brutality again. This was at a campground in Northern California with my family. I was maybe 4 or 5, as I remember this trip vaguely. There was a lake and lots of grasshoppers I was afraid of. There was a bathroom for the campers, a single with a door and sink. Don't remember if it was a gendered bathroom. I went to pee, and there was a man standing outside. I said I have to pee, and he asked if there was an adult with me, and I said my parents were close, and he told me that he would watch since there were no adults with me. I went to sit on the toilet and pee, and he just kind of stood in the open doorway. I didn't realize it was weird at all. It was just another daddy to me. I remember this as an incident a few years ago. I'm 28 now, and told my parents, and they were both pretty shocked. Thankfully just watched, and I left. Definitely a pedophile, and it could have been worse. Always escort your little kids to the bathroom. Hey everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed those stories, and if you guys did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay depraved.